Ever since I made my last grocery budget video eating off of just $1 a day for the entire week, I've been getting lots of requests to make another video similar to that. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to head over to a Walmart. It's the cheapest grocery store in my area. And we're going to see how many products we could buy for just $25 for this entire week. Then we're going to head back to my house and we're going to see how many meals we can make with that $25 for my entire family. And I'm only going to be using a couple pantry staples such as some oil and seasoning. Everything else is coming from the store. I know this isn't going to be easy. Grocery prices are pretty high right now, but I promise I got a game plan and I think we could do it. Let's go head to the store. While I'm at the store, here's the items I'm going to be picking up today. So I'm first going to be starting over at the dairy area and I'm going to be picking up a half gallon of milk. I'm planning on using the milk in a few different recipes. And here's a good shopping tip for you. I've learned this over the years here at Walmart. Of course, it's different at different grocery stores, but if the price ends with a 5 or a 0, it is normally the first markdown price. But if it ends with a 1, it is the final markdown price, so you know it won't get much cheaper than that. And then all the other numbers are just the normal prices. The next item I'm going to be grabbing is a package of 12 eggs. I normally go for the white eggs. They're usually the least expensive, but I was surprised today because the brown eggs were significantly cheaper, only $2.66 for those 12 eggs compared to the $3.32 for the white eggs. I'm going to be grabbing a package of hot dogs now, then 1 pound of sausage. I'm going to be using the sausage in 2 different recipes, so it will stretch and turn into an amazing price. Next is a can of black beans, then off to the canned meat area. Always look at the price per ounce when buying your groceries because that will help you get the best deal. So the name brand tuna was 32.6 cents per ounce, but the generic tuna was only 18.4 cents per ounce. So big money savings there. Now I'm getting a bag of penne pasta for under $1. Next on my list is a can of enchilada sauce, and I am so happy because my store finally carries the Great Value enchilada sauce. It's only about $1 a can. The other enchilada sauce I used to buy was $2 a can, so double the price. Then I grabbed a little can of tomato sauce. Next, a box of mac and cheese. And as you see, the spiral macaroni and cheese is 5.5 ounces for the box. And then the normal macaroni and cheese is 7.5 ounces for the box. The same price for the boxes, it's just the normal mac and cheese has a little bit more in it, so I'm grabbing that. Then I'm going to be grabbing a 1 pound bag of lentils, and if you are new to lentils, you will see why I love them today. And as you know, if you've seen any of my other videos, I love petite diced tomatoes, but I wanted some added flavor in my diced tomatoes today, so I looked further and I saw these ones with some green peppers and celery and onions in them, but I wasn't feeling that flavor, so I went for the diced tomatoes with garlic and olive oil. Those are so good. It's just the same price. Next, I'm going to be grabbing a bag of these corn tortillas. Now I'll grab a bag of frozen mixed vegetables, and here's a little tip for you. Most of the time, generic products and name brand products like these frozen vegetables are the same exact product. A lot of the time, they're even made in the same facilities, but packaged with the store's label, not the name brand label. The reason why they could do this is because the stores do not spend extra money on national advertising campaigns for their products, and the packaging is kept very basic so they could sell the products for less. So next I'm going to be grabbing a bag of frozen spinach. There's so much spinach in this bag because it gets either boiled or blanched first and then flash frozen so they could squeeze a lot of spinach in there. Now I'm going to be grabbing a bag of potatoes O'Brien, and as you see, the big name brand potatoes O'Brien bag for a pound of the potatoes O'Brien is over $5 for the bag. Good thing I looked further because the store brand potatoes O'Brien was only a little over $3 for this bag. This pretty much goes for any store you shop at, like Kroger stores. If you have an Aldi near you, this will go for Aldi too. But now I'm going to be grabbing a sweet potato. Sweet potatoes go super super far in recipes and they have a ton of added health benefits. Next thing on my list was russet potatoes. I needed quite a few russet potatoes for the recipes I have in mind, so I just weighed the individual russet potatoes just to see where I was headed for the price, and it certainly did not look good. After I weighed a few of those potatoes, I was just already over budget for those potatoes. So then I looked further and I found this big old 5-pound bag of russet potatoes for only a little over $3 for the bag. So that was cause for celebration. I put that in the cart. The last thing on my list was an onion. So I looked at the white onions. It was $1 for a pound, but then I saw the yellow onions were only about 50 cents per pound. That 68-cent thing was wrong. That price was wrong. So I put that in the cart. Let's head home and see what I can make with all this yummy food. They say breakfast is the most important meal of the day, so that is what we are starting with today. We are making this amazing sausage potato casserole. I'm cooking up a half a pound of the sausage right now. I'm just breaking it up with my meat masher. And while our sausage is cooking away, I am going to start on the egg mixture. So to this bowl, I am going to crack in 12 eggs, and then I'm going to add in a half a cup of milk, a teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of pepper, chili flakes, onion powder, and garlic powder. Give this a really good whisk. Now that our eggs are well combined, I'll set them to the side, and our sausage is cooked through at this point. So I'm going to remove any excess grease from the pan. I'm just wiggling a paper towel around in there until it's absorbed. My mom taught me that trick years ago. But I have my 9x13 baking dish right here. I sprayed it with nonstick spray. Then I added in my entire bag of potatoes O'Brien. Just spread those potatoes out and then sprinkle the cooked sausage all over the top. And then you are going to pour the egg mixture over that and bake this in a preheated oven to 350 degrees for about 45 to 55 minutes, or until the egg has set in the middle. You could get fancy with this if you like and top it with all sorts of different toppings like avocado, cilantro, lime, and salsa, but this is so good alone. It really doesn't need any toppings just because it is just blasting with flavor. Now we're making this creamy tomato pasta. So to my large Dutch oven, or you could use a big pot, add in about a tablespoon of olive oil, and then I'm adding in the other half of the sausage. Break the sausage up and cook it through right now. Once the sausage has cooked through, just remove any excess grease from the pot. And then you are going to want to add in the diced tomatoes. Of course, I'm just using the diced tomatoes with the garlic and oil. Those just have so much flavor. Next, I added in a half a pound of our penne pasta. It is just half of this bag. And then toss in your seasonings. Just add in some salt and pepper, about 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning, and then add in 2 cups of milk followed by a half a cup of water, and give this a stir. Let this simmer on low for about 10 to 14 minutes. You do want to stir this often while it is simmering, just because you don't want the pasta to stick to the bottom of the pot and burn. And then while it is simmering, you do want to keep an eye on it, just because if the liquid line gets too low, just add in half a cup more water at a time until your pasta gets nice and tender. But once your pasta is tender, go ahead and serve it up. Here's my plate of food. I topped mine with a little bit of Parmesan cheese that I had on hand. This pasta is so rich and delicious. It's also creamy. And then this recipe makes so many different meals. We were actually able to have this for lunch the next day too. Now we're making this black bean sweet potato hash. So to begin, we're going to cut up our vegetables. I am just cutting up 1 sweet potato. Then I'm using 2 of our russet potatoes from the bag. Then I'm going to dice up about 1/4 of the onion. A little bit of onion does go a long way in recipes. So to the pan on my stove, I added in a tablespoon of olive oil. Then I added in the onion that we just cut up, and I am going to cook it for about 3 minutes. After the cooking time is up and and my onions are starting to get soft, I added in the diced up potatoes. Next, I added in about a half a cup of water along with our seasonings, a little bit of pepper, salt, onion powder, garlic powder, and oregano. I added in about a teaspoon of each of those seasonings, and then I gave this a stir. You want to cover this and let this cook for about 10 minutes or until the potatoes are tender. You do want to stir it often while it's simmering, just so the potatoes don't stick to the bottom of the pan. But now that my potatoes are fork tender, I am just going to add in the rest of our ingredients. So I'm adding in a drained and rinsed can of black beans along with half of the bag of the frozen spinach. Then I added in a little bit more seasonings, just a dash of pepper, salt, onion powder, garlic powder, and then I gave this a stir and I let this cook all together, covered for about 5 minutes. You'd be surprised how much protein comes from this recipe. There's so much protein in those beans, same with the potatoes, and surprisingly, the spinach has protein in it too. It's really good, and you could easily add ingredients to make it your own or subtract ingredients too. Now I'm making this potato hot dog skillet, and don't go knocking this recipe until you try it. I'm starting out by dicing part of our onion, about 7 russet potatoes, and our hot dogs into just smaller pieces. Over to the pan on my stove, I have about a tablespoon of olive oil in there. I added the onion and the hot dogs in, and you're going to want to cook the onion and hot dogs for about 5 minutes. You want to get a nice golden color on the outside of the hot dogs. That's going to add a lot of added flavor. But now that the hot dogs are kind of like a golden color, you're going to want to add in your seasonings. So toss in a little bit of salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, and paprika. Then give this a really good stir. After you're through stirring this together, you're going to want to add in the potatoes that we cut up earlier, along with the small can of tomato sauce and a half a cup of water. Give this another stir, and then you're going to want to simmer this on low, covered, for about 10 to 15 minutes. Stir it often so the potatoes don't stick to the bottom of the pan. And then once the potatoes are fork tender, you could serve this up. Here's what it looks like. If you wanted to, you could add veggies to this recipe so easily. You could add a frozen bag of peas in there or frozen broccoli if you'd like, but this really does have a lot of protein, and this recipe makes a lot of meals. My entire family really does enjoy it. Now I'm making this hearty potato lentil soup, so to the pot on my stove I'm adding in 2 tablespoons of water. If you didn't know this, you could always use water to saute veggies if you don't have oil on hand. Then I added in a quarter of our onion. I just diced it up and I cooked it for a few minutes. Now I'm adding in 9 cups of water along with about 4 of our russet potatoes. I just peeled those and diced those. Next I'm adding in the remaining amount of our frozen spinach, and then you'll want to add in 1 cup of the lentils. These lentils are uncooked. I did rinse them in a mesh strainer though, just over the sink. And then I added in our seasonings, a dash of salt and pepper, and then some onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, oregano, Italian seasoning, and chili powder. But you could really add in any type of seasonings that you enjoy. Just add in quite a bit because this soup does need a lot of flavor. I'm going to simmer this covered on low for about 20 minutes, stirring it occasionally until my lentils are cooked through. Lentils are very high in protein and they're such a great meat substitute. They're actually probably one of my favorite meat substitutes, but this soup is super delicious and very nutritious. Now I'm making this creamy pasta with vegetables, so to the pan on my stove I'm adding in about a tablespoon of olive oil. Once my oil is hot over medium heat, I added in a quarter of our onion. I'm also adding in the bag of frozen mixed vegetables. I'll give this a stir and I'll let this cook for about 5 to 10 minutes. Over to the pot of boiling water on my stove, I'm going to add in the remaining amount of penne pasta in my bag. It's just about a half a pound. I'll cook it according according to the package instructions, and then once my pasta is tender, I'm going to reserve about half a cup of the water the pasta is cooking in, and I'll set it to the side. I'm just going to strain my pasta now and set that to the side. But now that my veggies are tender, I added in about 3 tablespoons of flour. I'm going to give this a stir to coat the flour in the vegetables. Now I'm going to slowly add in the reserved pasta water. Just stir it while you're adding it in. Then add in about 1.5 cups of the milk. Of course, slowly add that in and stir it while you're adding it in, just so it really combines well with the flour. Now I'm going to add in my seasonings. Of course, use any seasonings you like. I just did a little bit of salt, pepper, Italian seasoning, and paprika. Let this simmer together, stirring it very frequently for about 3 to 5 minutes or until the sauce thickens and looks like this. Now add in the cooked pasta along with a can of drained tuna, and then give this a stir. Let this cook together for about 5 minutes. Of course, you do want to stir it while it's cooking together, and then here is the finished product. I topped mine with a little bit more pepper and Parmesan cheese. This is so easy to throw together, and if you didn't want to use tuna, you could always use chicken as a substitute or leave the meat out for a meatless meal. This really is good. I thought of a great way to use up those lentils is making these lentil enchiladas. So to the pot on my stove, I added in the remaining lentils. I believe it was a little over a cup. Then I added in some water. Next, I'm going to add in seasonings. I'm just doing some kind of like Mexican style seasonings. So salt, pepper, paprika, and then I added in garlic powder, onion powder, oregano, and cumin. You could really use any type of seasonings you like, but this really went well with the enchiladas. I'm going to give this a stir and let this simmer for about 20 minutes or until the lentils are tender. But now that the lentils are tender, we are going to start on the enchiladas now. So I have a 9x13 baking dish right here. I sprayed it with nonstick spray. Then I have our can of enchilada sauce. I poured half of it down at the bottom of the can. Now I'm going to place some corn tortillas over the top of the enchilada sauce. And then over the corn tortillas, go ahead and add all of the lentils right in there. I did drain out any liquid from the lentils after they were finished cooking. Spread the lentils out and then cover them with another layer of corn tortillas. And then over the corn tortillas, drizzle the remaining enchilada sauce over the top and bake this on 350 degrees for about 30 minutes. These enchiladas are really good, and this is a great way to use up lentils, and lentils are low in sodium and saturated fat, but they're high in fiber and potassium, so they're really good for you. And then we also topped our enchiladas with a little bit of salsa, sour cream, and lime. My little baby Macy was super excited about dinner. She's just super cute, and she's 1 now. Now we're making this special macaroni and cheese, at least that's what my family likes to call it. To this pot of boiling water, I'm adding in our box of macaroni and cheese. I did save the cheese packet for later. Just boil up the noodles according to the box instructions, and then once the pasta is tender, just strain it and then add the pasta back into the pot. And then you're going to want to add in the cheese packet that we saved from earlier. Also add in 1 can of drained tuna, and then a couple tablespoons of milk. Give this a really good stir. Let this cook together for a few minutes, and then you could serve this up. This really does elevate a regular box of macaroni and cheese. Tuna is packed full of protein, healthy fats, and vitamins, so this is really a cheap, easy way to make dinner. I have plenty more grocery budget videos like this on my channel, so make sure you're subscribed down below the video so you don't miss the next one. I'll see you there. Bye for now.